Good evening and welcome back. I hope everyone had a wonderful week this week. It's getting warm over here in Chicagoland. It's actually going to be in the 70s over the weekend, so it's going to feel very much like a late summer, early fall day around here. So looking forward to it after a week of being pretty cold. Hope everyone else is having great weather where they're at throughout the US and wherever else you might be watching the video. Just wanted to kind of say thank you to the community first and foremost. I'm approaching 100 subscribers, and I started this 7 months ago. I didn't know where it would really go, and maybe at times I was kind of a little naive about how the process would kind of go, but I think I've hopefully learned a lot kind of going through this. I've definitely enjoyed meeting people during this period of time, and I look forward to continuing to meet people. And actually related to that, kind of thinking ahead, I've been thinking about this the last few weeks. So the National, obviously it's here in Rosemont in the Chicagoland area every other year, which is just a great thing for those of us in the Midwest. This is the first year that I will be actually a content creator kind of going to the show, as opposed to just being a straight up collector, which is obviously my first and foremost identity. And I was kind of curious if there was other content creators from the Chicagoland area that might want to be able to kind of put together like host a night and kind of get together where we kind of get together with other content creators and try and like put it on blast so people know this is kind of a place where they can kind of come and hang out and talk about cards and do whatever and have some drinks. There's a cool brewery that's like a third of a mile from the actual venue that should be pretty easy for people to get to, as opposed to kind of going to one of the restaurants there, one of the bars at the hotel. So I was just kind of curious if anybody might want to be doing something like that, if there's some interest doing it, if there's anyone local here in Chicago watching the channel that wants to kind of get involved with maybe trying to put that together and getting the news out there, I would welcome it. So please feel free to, put your name in the comments there and let me know you might be interested. I know we have a long time away. We don't have to worry about it anytime soon, but I've just kind of been thinking ahead and would love to be able to kind of meet people in the community, and thought we kind of maybe be a little more proactive as Chicagoland people of trying to draw people out to one of the cool places in Chicago that's not too far from the convention center, as opposed to kind of just being at the convention center all weekend for those that are going to be there for the show, either as a collector or a dealer kind of coming to the show. Anyway, I got some more cards this week, so I wanted to just kind of show off what I got. Still working on some sets that I kind of talked about previously. So I got a little mixture of things that came in this week. And wanted to start with just kind of a shout out to one of the dealers I brought some stuff from. Every so often when you get stuff from a dealer, you get some thrown in cards in there, and sometimes it's things you're really not interested in. There are a lot of junk wax era cards that kind of get thrown in, but every now and then there's some kind of gems in there that got thrown on there that really kind of fit your vibe and your interest. So wrapped amongst a bunch of, I think, 91 upper deck cards. I have a hard time deciphering between 90 and 91 upper deck because they look so similar. There was like 4 cards or 3 cards in there that kind of stood out, as well as one that he had actually in a top loader, and I'll kind of show you those real quick. The seller I bought these from were on eBay. It was D Ponder 2, the number 2, D Ponder 2. And I bought a lot of cards from him, and he actually included some of these things. So first one on there was a 81 Fleer Jim Palmer. It's pretty cool. I know it kind of is on the teetering on the junk wax era to some degree, but I think early 80s stuff is not in there, in my opinion. Maybe a card that's no worth more than 50 cents or a buck, but I think it's pretty cool picking up a Jim Palmer card. Definitely a pitcher that I liked as a kid. Another one I liked as a kid was Steve Carlton as well. Good old lefty. Multiple Cy Young Award winner there previously. So this is an 83 Donruss that was thrown in that lot. And there was also a league leader card from 83 Topps where it had Steve Carlton on there as well, and good old Bo Diaz on there. So I thought those were kind of cool things that got thrown in, and the top loaded card he gave me was right up my alley. Jose Abreu bat card from 2018 Series 2 Topps. It's not numbered, but that's okay. I'm happy with it. I'm kind of sad to see that this is probably the end of an era for the White Sox with Jose Abreu. It looks like he will not be back with the team. They just have too many people that kind of play that similar role of, a right-handed first base DH type, and he's obviously the oldest of all of them. I'd like to see them find a way to be able to keep them. I know that means they may have to move somebody to be able to do it, but he just is kind of the fabric of the team in so many ways, and I'd hate to see him go. But anyway, got my Jose Abreu card in the background here. I'm going to take him down and replace him with an old vintage Bowman card, which is a 54 Bowman of Bob Feller in here in the back to go on with this other collection of Bowman cards and some Topps Giants, and also a Mecha double folder from 1910, which doesn't kind of fit the era, but I thought it kind of looked cool to have on the edge of the video tonight. All right, so this first lot came from the same dealer. This is going to be Deep Ponder. It was a lot of 1953 and also 1954 Bowman cards. So let's go over the 1953 Bowman cards, and I'll show you the 1954 Bowmans that he actually had in the lot as well. We're going to start from the highest numbered card down to the lowest, starting with Sherman. Good old Sherm Lawler from the Chicago White Sox. Again, I'm working on this set, so it's nice to be able to pick up this card. I hadn't had this one added to the collection just yet, so happy to be able to put it together. I think I'm now up to about 40 different cards for the sets, which is actually 25% of the set. Al Corwin from the New York Giants. Good old Polo Grounds in the back there. Fred Hatfield from the Detroit Tigers. See the old facade of Yankee Stadium there. Speaking of the Yankees, they need to try and figure out a way to get past Houston right now. Houston's pitching is really shutting them down. I'm about to switch over and watch the game here in a minute. It's not the Yankee or the American League game tonight. It's not the Yankee-Astros game, but they have game 3 of the Padres and Phillies. Two teams I never expected to be in the this far in the playoffs, but it's kind of exciting to watch them play each other. I mean, one of these teams is going to go to the World Series. I don't really have a rooting interest beyond just seeing good baseball, though, so good luck to either fans of either team. Here's another Del Ennis. This is actually a duplicate for me. Here's Sally Hemus. This is also another duplicate. I'm starting to get some duplicates from the lots I'm getting from the St. Louis Cardinals. This good old Smokey Burgess. Played for the White Sox right at the end of his career. Here's with the Philadelphia Phillies. He was a multiple-time All-Star, if I'm not mistaken. And finally, Sid Gorman. From the Boston Braves, you know, they list in the back as the Milwaukee Braves. Actually, here they have Boston Braves. So, I think later in the set they start mentioning Milwaukee Braves, which is kind of interesting to kind of go back and forth. All right, the other cards he threw in there were some 54 Bowmans. I only had like 2 54 Bowmans in my collection at this point. It's a pretty cool set. It's got a lot of star power. It's got a Willie Mays card in there. It's got a Ted Williams card that's short printed in there. It's got a Mickey Mantle card that's really popular. But it's missing the big rookies from 54. So it will always be the stepchild to the 1954 Topps cards. And honestly, they're black and white photos that they just colorized as opposed to having like true color photos in these images. So it's not quite as captivating as the 53 Bowmans for sure, but still I think it's kind of a nice set for the era. Here's a Vic Rishi from the New York Yankees, who was a pretty impactful pitcher during that era. The first one that came through. This one's kind of cool. This is a Clint Courtney. You can see the airbrushing there of the Orioles. This is the first year of the Baltimore Orioles. So this is a picture of him actually in a Browns uniform that they kind of, I guess you could say they airbrushed over there to do that, but they painted all these cards in here too because they started off as black and white photos, so they actually painted the whole card. So, but I think it's kind of cool just kind of looking at what they kind of did to update the cards at that time. There's Clint, one of the original Baltimore Orioles. And Andy Pafko. He was a good player during his time, but probably best known for his card number 1 of the 1952 Topps sets. This is him with the Milwaukee Braves. This is well into the Milwaukee Braves at this point by the 1954 set. So that's the set I got. There's a lot I got from that first dealer. I'd recommend them if you're kind of having a chance to look online. And the final ones I got were from the same dealer who was up in Canada, actually. And these are actually 1948 Bowmans on there. So there's a copy of a 1948 Bowman over here of Enos Slaughter. Here's 2 commons from the set. I think I'm down to 8 cards now for the set. This is Bill Rigney from the New York Giants. I was actually really pleased when these came arrived because actually the pictures really don't do these cards justice. They're pretty good shape. Probably the best shaped cards I have for the set so far. Then finally Sid Gorm again, who this was here in 53. Here he is in 1948 playing for the New York Giants. Here is a little bit of a younger man in there. Because you can see some of the same facial structures if you look kind of closely. So anyway, that's all I have to show you tonight. I'm not expecting anything coming in at the moment, but I'm hoping to have some new content out there shortly. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Again, let me know if you are local, or even if you're not local, but you might be interested in trying to be able to kind of put something together for the National next summer. And we can kind of maybe figure out a way to get together, get on the phone or on Zoom or something to kind of talk out some of the details over the course of the next, well, we got like 9 months to do it, so there's no big rush and be able to put that together, but it'll be fun to kind of do that with some other people. All right, have a wonderful weekend. Hope you guys enjoy the postseason baseball. Basketball started. If you're a hockey fan, it's been started. Got college football, NFL football. It's just a great time of year if you're a sports fan because everything's going on. And then if you're a fan like me, we got the big Chelsea-Manchester United game tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that one. All right, take care, everyone.